Pedro from A&P-REACTS. I'm here today with Lawrence and Frank from Cryptosis to talk about Bionic Swarm, out March 26 on Century Media. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Thank you.
Well, thank you for taking the time to sit down with me and kind of try to break down this record and everything that went into making this album. So the first thing that I want to ask you guys is, what drove the change in sound that originated the birth of Cryptosis?
Well, yeah, we have been a three-piece since the beginning of a previous band called Distillator, but we always struggled, you know, to get a big sound with the three of us. So for many years we've been experimenting with different distortions. We are playing now in a stereo setup, so that means that Lawrence is using 2 amps and 2 caps, and I'm using that with the bass too. So we have on the stage, we have 4 amps and 4 cabinets, and we can, you know, switch them with a foot pedal, so to speak. And then I introduced a pedal that's called Mellotron pedal, Electro Harmonics releases these great pedals. And you know, the first time I bring it to the rehearsal space and I said, you know, guys, check this out. I got a pedal that's some kind of a synthesizer, but not really, more like a tape loop thing, you know, and it has been used a lot with the 60s bands like the Beatles, but modern bands like Steven Wilson use it a lot too, Opeth probably. So we played some old songs of us, and you know, we got really excited about it. And from there on, we just started experimenting with the sound and with this pedal. And this pedal opened up so much more, you know, colors on our palette for songwriting. So when we started writing the third Distillator album, we kind of, you know, drifted away from this old school thrash style that we have been playing for many years. And you know, we just wanted to write stuff that we really like, but doesn't necessarily, you know, fit in a genre, because you know, we have this pedal and it sounds so cool. You know, you can do so much different things with it. And you know, at one point we just said like, okay, we're just going to make an album and we will see, you know, what comes out. And I think around the time we also started talking about, you know, maybe if it's too different, you know, we should change our name. And so from there on, it just started, you know, coming to life. And so after, I think, 2 years writing on the album, it's you know, the Bionic Swarm that you've heard is something that, you know, that was created in that period. And it was so different for us than what we've been doing before, sound-wise. And you know, we thought, if people see this logo of Distillator, it's so old school thrash metal, and you know, it doesn't really represent our music now. And you know, we said like, we just should change our name, you know, and this is a good time. It opens a lot of opportunities for the future, you know, because we want to experiment more with this pedal, maybe bring in some other stuff as well. And that's just something we felt we could never do, you know, with the old name. So yeah, that's basically how everything went on that side. Yeah.
So is it Cryptosis, in your opinion, a little bit of shedding of the skin? Like now you have a little bit more of creative freedom because you're not bound by a genre specifically that has certain guidelines, let's put it that way, that defines what you guys can do. Now you have absolutely freedom. There's nobody telling you in which road you need to travel. You can do whatever you want. So does Cryptosis allow you to shed that skin and be exactly who you are now going forward?
Yeah, I think so. You know, for us, it's been, I think somewhere inside it has always been for us to, you know, the freedom of writing the music that we love, and to create, you know, your own sound and your own thing. This was always something that we wanted, but you know, just weren't ready to do that. And now we are ready, and we've made a start with Bionic Swarm, and you know, in the future we are going to do some more awesome shit.
And speaking of Bionic Swarm, what inspired the concept or the theme, I should say, of this record?
Well, as I said, you know, it was written as the third Distillator album. We were writing a trilogy. So the first album was about a past event, you know, about freedom. How do you, you know, what do you think about how free you are, you know? But it all, you know, played in the last 100 years. Then the second album was more or less like these days, and you know, then we did a split album with Space Chaser, a really cool band from Germany, and those topics were more or less like futuristic, but not really super futuristic. But you know, we kind of felt like this is really the right theme, you know, for us to write about, because you can, you know, use your imagination and create so much different stories. Then, you know, they might not be true, but you know, someday maybe they might be. And you know, we felt really comfortable writing in that yeah, in that kind of style. And I think it just continued, you know, whenever we started writing for this album.
Is this a case of the concept driving the sound, or the sound driving the concept, or perhaps both?
I think it's a little bit of both, but you know, we started out writing the songs as like blank, you know, like not bound to a genre, not bound to a specific concept at all. But you know, we kind of felt like this futuristic concepts, they really fitted into the band, and we kind of stick to that. And you know, during the recording or the writing process, I mean, we started to collecting these concepts, you know, on our mobile phone. We started to, you know, like get inspired by some films or some series, you know, and or maybe give a little twist to it, and then just write it down in documents, you know, on our band cloud. So yeah, and then in the end we got all these concepts, and we just, you know, fitted them to these songs that we thought that it fitted the vibe, you know. So
What
Yeah.
was the most what was the most challenging aspect of putting this record together?
well, yeah, I think it was challenging, you know, from beginning to end, basically, because I think for this record, when I compare it to the previous albums of Distillator, you know, our previous band, um, uh, we, I think we played with Distillator the kind of songs that we could play, and we, you know, recorded the songs of Cryptosis, you know, the way that we wanted to play, basically. You know, we put the bar so high for everyone, you know, for drums, for guitar, for bass, for vocals, you know, we put, you know, 110% for this record. And yeah, I think we have grown a lot as musicians as well, writing and recording this record. And you know, it was a pain in the ass to rehearse all these songs, because you know, we didn't make it ourselves that easy this time. But I think it's good, you know, to put the bar high, and yeah, to just give your everything. And yeah, we're really proud how things turned out so far. So
You guys raised the bar, and you guys pushed yourselves to surpass that bar with this record.
yeah, definitely.
Looking deeper into the album, this is perhaps my own, you know, definitely it's my own opinion, but it's my own view. But I want to get your take on it. Listening to this record, I felt like the album had this old school structure: side A, side B, each side having like an intro track that leads you into the record. Do you see the album constructed that way, or am I seeing things that are not there?
No, you're right. That's the way, you know, we wanted to present the songs, you know, because for us in this order it makes the most sense. And you know, and you cannot listen to, yeah, of course you can, but you know, it's not really easy to listen to 10 songs that are, you know, straight in a row, all, you know, maximum energy. And for us it's really important, you know, that sometimes you take a step back, you know, you know, you give the music a little bit of air to breathe, so to speak. And yeah, that came in handy, you know, with this instrumental part.
By the way, I absolutely love it. I think you guys were geniuses when you put this structure together, because it was really cool. You start off the album with an intro, so it kind of eases you into the experience of the record. And then you put another one in the middle, which would ease you into the second half of the album. And both times, you kind of feel like the record is kind of holding your hand and taking you in it, so that you're not like bombarded the moment you press play with a song that's just like immediately in your face. So the whole structure of the album, it made the album more fluid and increased the playability of the overall record. So if that was the intent that you guys had, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, that was definitely intent, man. I think this is something we also learned from the past, because also in previous bands, but also in our former band Distillator, that we just hit it right from the start. You know, just go 100% in there and wow, like go like totally crazy from the start. But you know, I think that this intro thing, and you know, like intermezzo stuff in between, it works really great.
I agree 100%. And the sound on this album, it still has a little bit of that Distillator aroma in it. You still get a little bit of that gritty thrash metal sound is still present there. You can still feel it. It almost feels like it's the spinal cord of everything else. Do you guys see yourselves shedding more of that as you progress, as things start to change, as your creativity starts to go in different places? Or do you always want to keep a little bit of that intact, of that thrash metal bass line intact?
Well, it's our DNA, you know, this whole thrash metal thing, because we've been doing this for a long time, and you know, we have been on tour with the previous records many times, you know, and so it was, you know, it's a point that we came from, but you know, if it is, you know, my opinion, then you know, we should just do whatever, you know, the fuck we want, and if it's trash, then it's trash. But you know, if it's something else, then so be it. You know, like it's so interesting to, you know, to have different different viewpoints in the music, you know, and not really one specific genre. And of course, in the future, of probably there will be a lot of trash influence, because we, all the three of us, really like that kind of music. But you know, we also listen to a lot of different stuff. For my example, I you know, I love electronic music. Lawrence listens to Wadrina, for example. So that are really influences that no trash band ever has been used. So, you know, we can't really tell, you know, what the future will bring for us in terms of songwriting. But you know, we just want to expand our horizon, and just, you know, whatever comes to mind, we write it, and you know, we work with that. And so yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I want to add something to that, because if you take Bionic Swarm for a spin, you will come out in a song called Prospect of Immortality, and later at the album you'll encounter a song called Mindscape, and these songs are like, you know, they're different from the rest, and you know, it was some inspiration that got us to write these songs like this. And I think in the future you will expect, or you can expect, more songs like this. I think it's not that we are going to write an entire album like that, but you know, these songs turned out quite fine, and we're really proud of the end result. And we got really good feedback also on the split with Vector that we released last week. So yeah, I think let's see what the future brings. And I think this whole not being able to how you say this, that you don't, you know, specifically write in one genre. It fits really good to our songwriting, I think.
Do you see this album being driven by one element, or does this album move you forward by the combination of all the different factors that are coming to the table, like the bass, the drums, guitars, vocal, everything working well together? Or is there one above all that is kind of the motor behind the record?
No, all are equal, you know. Sometimes a song leans a bit more towards a certain guitar riff or whatever, but in general, it's just like we try to come up with the most intricate stuff for the three of us, and yeah, I think that's also why we work so well as a three-piece, because everybody, you know, puts their own, you know, touch to the band, and you know, this band cannot exist without one of these three guys, you know. So, for example, if we change drums, then the band will sound totally different. But if we change bass or guitars or vocals, that's, you know, that's the same.
And from your perspective, as far as the vocals are concerned, did you have anything in mind coming into this record? Did you have a goal in mind of how you wanted the vocals to sound or to be? The reason I'm asking this is because I felt like they were very dynamic. You didn't really have like just one style or one approach in terms of every song. I felt like you took something from the lyrical content of the tracks and you brought that to the forefront in how you performed. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think you know, if you compare this to this later, I will make this comparison again, because if you listen to the first album and the second album, I think you hear some progress or some difference in the vocals as well. And you know, speaking for myself as you know, as doing the vocals, I always have trouble, you know, when I go to the studio and start recording vocals, because when I start, I really have to find the sound that I really like, because I have something in mind, and then I want to try it, and then it doesn't turn out the way I want, you know. And also for this album, I think we took 1 or 2 days of vocal recording, and then it, you know, we throw the recordings away because it sucked balls, you know. So it really was horrible.
You're just being honest. You sounded horrible on it.
Yeah, it was totally shit. And we just you know, I had to really find you know, the right sound, and yeah, then also with each song, sometimes, you know, the song required a little more aggressive vocals, the other one a little more like a grunt style of vocals combined with my regular. So yeah, was a nice journey, but you know, it has to fit the song. That's, you know, that's the main thing. We always want to make songs that are, you know, like from every aspect correct.
So Frank, let me ask you this: were the vocals that bad?
No, to be honest, no. No, we're really experimenting, you know, the first 1 or 2 days. And, you know, when we book the studio, we also, you know, keep that in mind. So we just we want to try some things out and see what works. But yeah, yeah, I think it's yeah, I've been recording with Lawrence already for many years, and yeah, I see that you know, like if the sound is not really what he has in mind, then, you know, he just said like, okay, just remove it. You know, I'm going to try something else, and but I think that's good, you know, because otherwise you would end up with an album, you know, with the first 2 or 3 songs that you probably don't really like because the vocals, you know, are not really there yet. And one other thing that's really nice is I think personally that my voice and Lawrence's voice, they blend really well together, you know, if we do like double vocals. And that's something that we found out in the studio as well, and you know, over the years. So for this album, we really, you know, really thought about how we can make the most of this, you know,
Of this ability of having the two of you working together.
yeah, because there are some parts that, for example, Lawrence and me, we do, you know, focus together, or, you know, like um, he's doing one line, then I do just you know, a small thing, then he's picking it up again. So all that kind of stuff is something that we also never did before, and you know, we really experimented with that this time, and yeah, I think it worked out pretty well. And you know, the song "Conjuring the Egoist," I think it's the best song to hear these different yeah, voices, and decipher. I think as well. We did a lot in those 2 songs.
So the last question I have for you guys is that this feels to me that this is an album that was challenging, and there's always challenges with albums, but at the same time was a very creative process for you guys. You kind of almost rediscover yourselves. So the question is a little bit more personal. What did you guys discover about yourselves, not as musicians necessarily, but as individuals through the process of making this album that you didn't really know before?
Well, I think from my perspective, it's I learned that it's important not to, when it comes to playing, you always want, to show off, like, check out how good I can play. But, with this record, I learned that, it's like the song is more important than one individual, showing off their technical abilities. And I think it was some kind of subconscious way that we wrote the album, and then we heard the masters, and then I just realized, like, yeah, like a song has to have a good chorus, with nobody else interrupting the vocals, like the bass guitar has. I just learned a lot about this kind of stuff. And yeah, so for me personally, I think that was the one thing that stood out the most. And one other thing is that you cannot push creativity. It just it was a really long process. I think we've been working on the album for about 20 months, and in the past we didn't do that that long. So yeah, for me that's really one thing that like a good album just takes time to write, and can't be done between small time frames between tours and stuff like that.
You can't rush greatness.
No, you just have to listen to a song like 1,000 times, and still you'll hear things that can be better. And if I listen to the album now, I hear some some small details that I think if I had the time I would have changed it.
What about you, Lawrence? What do you feel like this album has taught you?
I think it has taught a lot about being patient. Like sometimes you have these ideas and you want to finish the song, but you can't find the right idea. How to continue. You're just stuck and you don't know how to fix it. And it can take 1 month, or it can take 4 months, or 1 year maybe, to come up with an idea, like that you have like this bright moment that you
the light bulb goes on.
Yeah, that you are able to fix it, and if you give yourself enough time, you will write something great. And I think for this record, this coming out with Century Media, this for us, this is like a huge step forward, because we never signed to any major label, and with it opens a lot of doors for us, like not only the promo, but also the distribution, and yeah, it's the product itself, it's a great quality. And haven't seen it. Yeah, I have seen it on pictures, but I haven't held it yet, unfortunately. But yeah, and I think it also gives a lot of motivation to keep going, and to that it also is a confirmation that we are doing it the right way. And yeah, it's a great it's a great thing, and we hope to do this for many years.
Well, I want to thank you guys for taking the time today. Cryptosis, Bionic Swarm, out March 26th on Century Media. I think you guys did a wonderful job with this record. I really enjoyed listening to it, and I really enjoyed talking to you guys about it. So thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah, man. You too. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.